What is up, guys? It is your favorite sports YouTuber, Crumbletakes, and no, today we're not crashing out over the Milwaukee Bucks, thank God, but instead, today is the NFL Draft. Now, as I'm recording this, of course, it's not the NFL Draft, but hey, today is the day of the NFL Draft. I know I'm excited. I know you guys are excited. Every team currently right now has their first round pick, so all 32 teams, no matter who you're a fan of, guess what? You guys have potential to make a first round pick this year and potential to go ahead and draft a future piece and draft a future, even potentially Hall of Famer. Like this year's draft, there's so many position players with the quarterback draft class being so weak. So many position players that are like, wow, there's a lot of guys that people need to go ahead and get in this draft because they can truly help their cause. Now, before I get into it, I just want to say this is recorded in a very weird way. You guys, you're on my phone, okay? You guys are on my phone. My laptop's over there. Well, my monitor is over there. So this might be a little bit weird of a setup, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to work with it. So before we get into it, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. It's very much appreciated. And let's get straight into the video. So guys, with the number 1 overall pick, we have the Tennessee Titans. I mean, do I really even need to explain why this is such an EV pick for the Tennessee Titans? You all have seen the reports. Titans aren't trading the first pick. They were having private workouts with Cam Ward. Let's be real, guys. We all know the first pick of the NFL draft is going to be Cam Ward. Hey, Titans need a quarterback, man. Will Levis is clearly not the answer. Did not have a good season whatsoever for the Tennessee Titans. You know, Cam Ward was a guy in Miami who went ahead and he put up some numbers. I mean, that brother put up some numbers. Also, he was slinging the ball down the field a lot, just making some great plays overall. Yeah, this is the best quarterback in this year's draft class for sure. Cameron Ward out of Florida. Miami to be exact. I mean, he's going first. Let's just be real, guys. Like, do I even need to explain why? Now, number 2, this is where stuff gets weird. If anyone thinks the Browns should pick Abdullah Carter, I think you're wrong. And this is why I think you're wrong. Abdullah Carter, generational defensive end. I agree with you guys, but why leave a generational defensive end when you can get a guy who can play 2 positions? Wide receiver, which he played amazing as wide receiver, and corner, and he was an elite quarterback in Colorado. Why pass up Travis Hunter? There's no point whatsoever. I know there's news right now about teams are trying to trade up to get this man Travis Hunter. This guy right here is not a joke. He is one of the best players I've seen with my own eyes. How are you playing 2 sides of the field, brother? I don't know how it's gonna work in the NFL, but if the Browns pick anyone who isn't Travis Hunter, I'm so sorry, but it is beyond dumb. I'm taking Travis Hunter if I'm the Cleveland Browns with the number 2 pick. Leads me on to the New York Giants. Now, there's some news talking about the Giants might trade out. They're not trading out of the spot. I'm telling you guys right now. Abdullah Carter, generational defensive end at Penn State, sacking the quarterback, getting pressures, looking elite. Like, this guy is actually like no joke whatsoever. Like, if I saw Abdullah Carter in real life, I don't know, man. I would be like, well, good thing we ain't on a football field, because if I know I was a quarterback and I saw Abdullah Carter on the football field, I'd be like, oh, I'd start trembling. Y'all know that one meme where dude's hands was trembling? Yeah, that would be me. Abdullah Carter is going number 3. Patriots. Patriot fans, I'm sorry, but you guys pick, I guess, really isn't exciting, but it should be exciting because, you know, you're not getting a flashy new weapon on offense, but you will be getting Will Campbell out of LSU. Pretty solid offensive lineman. I would say the best offensive lineman in this draft. I mean, you guys shouldn't really what was the word I want to say? Like, you guys shouldn't hate this. This is a great pick. You guys need to build the trenches up, but I'd go to Will Campbell at number 4. This is where stuff starts making me mad now. Why is Genty favored to go to the Jacksonville Jaguars? Does that even make any sense? Jacksonville, why do you want Ashton Genty? You drafted Travis Etienne not too long ago. Y'all just drafted Tank Bigsby. Drafting another running back is not fixing your guys' problems. I am truly sorry, but that is not how it works in the NFL. You need to build the trenches like we have seen with these teams. The Eagles, who else? The Commanders have been building the trenches. Like, teams are building the trenches because they're realizing if you want to win a Super Bowl, you have to have good trenches. And what are they doing? Trying to do something insane. Genuinely, I'm gonna do what I think they should do in this draft. Like, going off of personal preference, what I think they should do. They might end up drafting Genty, and I'm gonna tweet about it on Twitter. Follow my Twitter at Crumbletakes right up there, and I'm gonna hate it. Now, I'm not even a Jacksonville fan, but I'm gonna hate it. But you know what? I think they got a guy. You cannot pass on a guy like Mason Graham. wonderful defensive lineman at Michigan. He wasn't on Abdullah Carter's level, but we saw he was also a menace. Like at 5, easily should be Mason Graham, especially when they need defensive line help. Like we saw that Jacksonville defense all year. Like obviously, besides what, Tavon Walker, like Mason Graham should truly be a no-brainer. For the Las Vegas Raiders, this could be a potential Genty candidate. If you can't tell, I believe that this draft is literally shaped around a whole bunch of players. Like Genty, we're going to see some trades for Genty. But Raiders, man, you guys are, you know, I'm sorry to tell you guys, but you guys are not getting Genty. Tara McMillan out of Arizona had some incredible athleticism. He can go out and catch any ball. Like, see this man's height. He can catch any ball. First year at Arizona, putting up amazing stats, breaking records. Now, of course, he got hurt, and then his stats dwindled a little bit. I think this guy is legit. I think he can be a #1 receiver. I think he's the perfect guy for Geno Smith to add in this offense. To Tara McMillan, wide receiver at Arizona, he's going to the Raiders at 6. The Jets are potentially a team that can potentially trade down depending on what they want to do, but I think they'll stay. I think they realize that, you know, they need to build this offensive line around Justin Fields. Armin Mbu will be going #7 to the Jets. Carolina. This is where things get a little bit wild. Now, I truly think that this is where things are gonna like depend on the draft with Genty. All right, listen. There are 3 teams in the next 5 picks, I think, that want Genty. Obviously, the Cowboys should want Genty. The Bears want Genty, and oh well, the guys aren't up here, but the Denver Broncos. This is where I feel like at number 8 with Carolina, they could potentially get something out of this. And you know what I think it could potentially be? The Bears are going to be aggressive, but the Bears are going to be aggressive. Yes. Denver, I've seen him getting into mock drafts. You know what though? I feel like Denver's going to realize there's other running backs in the draft. They aren't on a Genty level, but you know what? Number 9 Carolina, I think, is getting traded to, well, not to, with the Bears. I think the Bears and Panthers are going to swap. I think the Bears are going to give them back their 2nd round pick this year, and they're going to throw in their 2nd from next year. Hopefully I'm not doing this trade wrong. Hopefully I don't look stupid, because if I look stupid in the comments, like, I hope they don't have to give up their 1st round. They're going to give up their 2nd. And then I think Carolina can go ahead, you know, give up, like, you know, some pick later on, like, you know, pick 146. I feel like that's not bad. And then Chicago could also give up a 4th rounder for next year. Trade. Boom. Chicago is now on the clock. Ashton Genty will be with Caleb Williams in this Chicago offense. This is going to be great. Can't wait to see it. This probably won't happen now. I watch it not happen now. But let me know in the trade. Let me know in the comments if you guys think that trade was fair. I'm not on PFF. I want to give a shout out to, you know, the people on Twitter who went ahead and made this mock draft simulator that is free. It costs no money whatsoever. They have trades for free, dark mode. Like, thank you guys. You guys truly mean the world to me for making this. But yeah, number 9. New Orleans Saints are in an interesting situation. Derek Carr might be out for a little bit. They got Spencer Rattler. You know, I wouldn't like this pick because I don't think he's necessarily a 1st round talent, but the Saints would try to go ahead and do this. Shedeur Sanders. Like, either he goes at 9 to the New Orleans Saints or he doesn't go at all in the 1st round unless there's a trade. And you know what? I think the Saints are going to pull the trigger off it. They're going to realize Derek Carr's not the answer. I'm unsure how they feel about Rattler. I think Shedeur Sanders goes number 9. And that brings me back to the Carolina Panthers. Now, the Panthers, they need a corner and they need an edge rusher. Biggest thing I think they really genuinely need an edge rusher. Genuinely biggest thing I think they need is an edge rusher. So, some of the best edge rushers in the draft: Micaiah Williams, Shamar Stewart, Mike Green, James Pierre Jr., Donovan. I think I'm going with Micaiah Williams. We saw in Georgia. He was a pretty good edge rusher for the Georgia Bulldogs, able to put up some great stats, and, you know, he was a Bulldog. He's like that. Taking Micaiah Williams. For the 49ers, this is also another interesting situation because originally I had them taking a corner. No, I think the 49ers also need some defensive line help. Now, remember when I was talking about Mason Graham earlier, him being so great? Well, there's Mason Graham's teammate, Kenneth Grant, that was also really good at Michigan. So I believe he will go to number 11 to the San Francisco 49ers because they need to build up that defense, man. I mean, they got all their players on like a couple of all expensive contracts, like it's time. And then we get to the team, the Dallas Cowboys, ladies and gentlemen. Now, they need a wide receiver. Are they gonna go wide receiver? I don't know. Me personally, I said Dallas should take an edge rusher, but now that I'm looking at this, guys, like that's not in my notes. I had Dallas taking an edge rusher. Now I'm feeling a little bit different. Now I'm feeling Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden, we saw in Texas, was doing some great things. He was putting up some great stats, some boom plays for sure. He does have some concerns, but you know what? I think I'm gonna go with Matthew Golden for the Dallas Cowboys. They really need a wide receiver behind CD Lamb. Like besides CD Lamb, I mean, that's it. He's the Porsche in front of that, you know, little trailer park home meme. Like I'll put it right here like that. Like I think I'm gonna go Matthew Golden on this one, guys. It might be a little bit interesting for you guys. Miami Dolphins. This is what the Dolphins need to do. They need to look at offensive linemen and they'd be like, oh, Kelvin Blanks Jr. is still there, and draft him. Great offensive tackle at Texas. And Miami, as we can see, like look at their offensive line depth chart. They need an offensive lineman or they're not going anywhere whatsoever, and they're not rebuilding. I don't even get me in a rant right now. I started about the Miami Dolphins. Indianapolis Colts, they don't have a true tight end at all. They need some more offensive weapons. They need some more blocking. I mean, Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs, those guys are some ballers, all right? But Anthony Richardson needs something good, a reliable guy that can go ahead and give him some plays in the flats, in the short yardage game, explosive. Why not draft the best tight end in the draft? Tyler Warren out of Penn State, brother was a baller. They get in him. Atlanta, you guys are not going to make the mistake like you did last year. Hey, if Penix pans out, you guys didn't make a mistake, and I'm stupid, all right? All right, I'm dumb if you guys, you know, if this pans out. Me personally, this is the year they're going to get the edge rusher. All right, Mike Green out of Marshall. Pretty good guy. He has some off-the-field problems, but you know what? I feel like teams are going to look past that. Mike Green, you're an Atlanta Falcon, buddy. Arizona, they need a corner. I mean, they need a corner. Their defense wasn't the best last year. They're stuck in, like, the mid territory. I believe that a guy like Will Johnson falling this far to pick 16, that is some good value right there, especially what we saw with him do at Michigan. I mean, he was locking some fools up. He was getting a ton of pick sixes and interceptions as well. He should be a lock. Cincinnati, literally any defensive player on the board they need. I mean, we can go there's so many ways we go with Cincinnati. We go safety, edge rusher, linebacker, but there's a guy that really stands out for me when I'm talking about Cincinnati, and that would currently be J.D. Barron out of Texas. Yeah, I thought he was an outstanding corner. He did have some low moments this year, but I also feel like that was great. But also, they need a linebacker, like desperately. We saw how bad their linebacker room this year was, and Jalen Walker out of Georgia just feels like this would just be a match made in heaven, honestly, for the Cincinnati. So I really would want them to go ahead and pick a guy like J.D. Barron. But also, I feel like linebacker is probably the biggest need right now. Linebacker, and depending if Trey Hendrickson gets traded, edge rusher. But I feel like they can find some other edge rushers like later on in the draft. This draft is pretty solid when it comes to edge rush. So Jalen Walker going to Cincinnati. The guys in Seattle, you know, Sam Darnold isn't there anymore. So I feel like the greatest thing they need to go ahead and do is establish that offensive line even more, because Sam Darnold without a good offensive line, as we saw in Carolina, we saw in New York, we saw in many places, not the best, I would say. They could go Josh Simmons, or also I could see the first, you know, guard coming off the board with being Tyler Brooker, but I feel like Josh Simmons out of Ohio State is a good enough move. And then Tampa, perfect thing that they need an inside linebacker, Jahad Campbell out of Alabama, perfect pick right here for Tampa. They need to keep adding to that defense, adding more and more with Todd Bowles. You already know he's going to add a guy like Jahad Campbell that falls perfectly right into their lap. Denver. Now, they need a running back. So, the thing is with Denver is they can go Hampton or they go Henderson, or they go wide receiver. Now, in all my mock drafts, I had them going receiver. But after all the reports I'm reading, I'm destined to think that they're going running back. So Hampton out of Carolina, He's not a Genty, but he'd be an RB1 in any other draft. This brother is explosive. He put up some stats at Carolina. He was putting up some jukes, some powerhouse moves. Like, he isn't an Ashton Genty, but he'd be the RB1 in any other draft. And then we get to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Defensive line, you know, they could go defensive line, but I'm more sticking with the offensive line for them. Also, this could be a team that maybe draft Trayvon Henderson, potentially, but I don't see it. I don't know what's going on with Pittsburgh right now. But, you know, the funny thing is, currently, as I'm making this video, you know, no one is committed to Pittsburgh. They still need a quarterback. So, as I'm making this video right now, I got them taking Jackson Dart. Like, you need a quarterback, and we don't know if Aaron's going to play. So, I think Mike Tomlin is just gonna take a shot at the dark with Jackson Dart. I mean, you need a quarterback to play football next year, and like, there's no one left. So I think they're at the point where they're really just looking at the draft and like, oh, okay, this is the trigger we're gonna go ahead and pull. And then we get to the, you know, the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, we know Jim Harbaugh, Michigan native. Now we know Colston Loveland, Michigan native. They need a tight end, but they have Will Disley. This one had me pondering for a little bit on what they should do. But you know what? I feel like they could go Colston Loveland, my bad. But you know, I just don't feel like it's a match made in heaven. Honestly, I feel like they will. So yeah, I kind of accidentally, you know, backed out my tab, so I kind of had to redo all that. But we back. Pick 22, the Los Angeles Chargers. You know, Shamar Stewart's still on the board. Honestly, they calling the phone and calling Shamar Stewart. I mean, great edge rusher out of Texas A&M. He's going. The Green Bay Packers. I will be going to the draft in Green Bay. I will be there, not for the first round, but for the second and later rounds. If they don't go here and draft this Ohio State receiver, I'm gonna say his name wrong. I'm telling you guys now. I'm not gonna even try. I'm so sorry, but I'm sorry. But this guy out of Ohio State, bro, Chris Olave. Why is only Chris? Oh, Garrett Wilson. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. I don't know why I can't think of any other receivers out of Ohio State. I mean, he's gonna be great. Minnesota, they're on the board. You know, Minnesota's been great all year. JD Barron, I mean, hey, that guy looks kind of great, and they need a corner. So JD Barron, you a Minnesota Viking. And then you got a guy, Houston Texans. They need offensive line. I mean, truly, they need offensive line and guard. And with Conley Jr. there out of Oregon, and with Tyler Broker out of Alabama still there, I think they're going to realize they're going to draft the best guard in the first round. Tyler Broker, he goes. They need any kind of offensive line help. Like, it's truly tragic in Houston. A team like the Los Angeles Rams is another weird team. They have a lot of needs, but they also don't have a lot of needs at the same time. They're a very interesting team. Definitely, they need an outside linebacker. And when you go to the linebackers, the linebacker room kind of gets dull from here, and you most likely should wait. When you go to the corner room as well, I mean, it's kind of dull at this point, and especially like things like, you know, those rooms too with the outside linebackers and offensive linemen. So I think Starks right here out of Georgia, his draft stock did plumble a little bit, but I truly believe that he'll be able to go ahead and be a great safety for them. The Baltimore Ravens are on the clock. James Pierce Jr. All right, I don't know why people think we need a wide receiver, why we think we're gonna get Luther Burden. If we get Burden, I'm gonna be highly upset. Well, I'm highly upset. Zay Flowers and Burden could be nice, but that's a lot of wide receivers in a room, especially with giving DeAndre Hopkins some money. But I truly believe, as a Raven fan, we need a defensive line. And when I say defensive line, I mean we need another dominant edge rusher. James Pierce Jr. was this in Tennessee. Give me James Pierce Jr. at number 27 tomorrow, and I am walking away a happy man. When you get to the team like Detroit Lions, it says they also need an edge rusher, but I don't truly believe that they need an edge rusher. I mean, they got Hermaine Hutchinson. Jermaine Hutchinson. They have Adrian Hutchinson. That's a great guy right there. But, you know, there's a guy named Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. They also need defensive line, so I feel like they'll be able to pull the trigger on that right there. The Commanders needed also an edge rusher, so they're going to go ahead right here. Like, I see edge rusher need to, they just need, I see the Commanders just wanting to keep building the trenches and keep adding on. They could really go corner here or edge rusher depending on how they feel, but I think that the GM will inevitably draft Donovan. I mean, he is probably like the worst first round. I don't want to say worst, because worse than first round just sound wrong, but I think they'll snag him at number 29. And then you get last to the last three teams, man. Team like the Buffalo Bills, you know, I was saying at the beginning of the year they need to draft an edge rusher because they need someone serious on defense, because every time they go play Kansas City in the playoffs, it's not serious. They get lost every single time. They lose every single time. That needs to stop. So you know what, remember when I was talking about who was I talking about? Oh, never mind, I'm tripping, guys. My apologies. So defensive line should be the move here for the Bills. Derek Harmon was good in Oregon. They should pull the trigger there. Kansas City's another weird team because they kind of have a lot of needs, but also like they really need to either get a safety, just someone on defense, man. Like I could see linebacker here potentially, but I also really could see edge rusher. But me personally, I think defensive line would be a smart move, and I think Nick Scorton, if I didn't say that wrong, I apologize, will be the move at Kansas City. Then we get into the last pick of the draft, Philadelphia Eagles. You know, this is hard, because what do they need? I think they need offensive line, probably keep building up the trenches, but I think they could go safety here potentially, maybe even edge rusher. But I think a guy like Jack Sawyer. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to get the perfect pick here. Teams are going to realize they needed an offensive line, and a guy named Donovan Jackson falls to them at 32. It's going to be kind of not sick watching Donovan Jackson fall to 32 to the Philadelphia Eagles, but this is how I believe the first round will go. Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Dula Carter, Will Campbell, Mason Graham, McMillan, Mbu, Genty, Sanders, Williams, Grant, Golden, Banks, Tyler, Green, Will Johnson, Walker, Simmons, Campbell, Hampton, Dart, Stewart, Barron, Brooker, Starks, Pierce, Nolan, Donovan, Derek Harmon, Nick, and Donovan Jackson. That's how I believe the first round will go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm sorry that I wasn't the most in-depth with it this year, okay? I apologize, all right? I'm sorry my video isn't 40 minutes long. I don't know if that's what you guys want to listen to or not. Let me know in the comments, but I feel like if I was a 40-minute video, I just want to touch over some picks a little bit. I didn't, like, want to go fully in-depth, and, like, I feel like that wouldn't be good content for you guys, because I don't know if you guys would want to sit and listen to me talk for, like, an hour over draft prospects. So I want to chuck it down a little bit, 20 minutes to 25 minutes. We'll see what the footage looks like after this is done. I feel like that is perfect for you guys, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Drop a like and follow for more, and that's how I think the full first round will go in this year's NFL draft. So let's see if my predictions are correct.